All right. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Michael Gummel with Paradigm Technology Consulting. Glad everyone could join us this morning to review the BI 360 Business Intelligence Suite. With me, I have Tom Franks, who's going to be walking you through the products today. We have a number of different solutions that Tom will be showing you for different types of things that are important within your business. I have everyone on mute just so that we can kind of get through this. If you do have questions or any issues, please use the chat. There will also be a couple of spots where we'll be stopping the presentation and opening up the phones for questions and answers as well. But if you have any questions as we go through it, please feel free to use the chat. And with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Tom. Tom?
Thanks so much, Michael. I'm Tom Franks. I'm with Solver. I'm here on the kind of the East Coast VP of Sales, and I wanted to just start showing two surveys from Gardner Group, who's a technology kind of think tank and survey company. The one to the left is the top things that CIOs are buying for their organizations in 2015, and to the right is what CFOs were looking to get in technology. That was back in 2013. But at the top of both of them is this business intelligence. How do I get more information out of the data in my systems? And that's kind of the goal of BI 360 is to be able to do that. So kind of with that as a thought, let's go ahead and take a look. Solver as a company, and Solver is the company. BI 360 is our product. We are have been on the fast-growing company list of a few organizations. We have been growing at about 30%. We have over 1,000 clients now on our BI 360, our product, which is now at version 4.5, and that is just in 5 years. So we have headquartered here in Los Angeles, California. And you can see some of the awards that we've won, and we work primarily with partners like Paradigm. So I have 3 levels of BI 360 that I'm going to show today. I'm going to kind of start with our FRX replacement level. I'll take a quick little break for questions. I'll do the kind of all reporting options, and then I'll look at our planning, forecasting, budgeting with the data warehouse, and kind of like restaurants, we'll kind of go from the 1-star to the 2-star to the 3-star level as I do that. So I'm going to try to show it in order and make sure I don't, so the longer you're paying attention, the more the price may go up. So just that warning. So we have 4 modules in our suite. It's one set of software, but we've kind of broken it up for licensing purposes. So the reporting, that allows us to design reports in Excel, and that's been one of our big points and advantages is people know how to use Excel and do a lot of formulas in there. We give them the ability to pull in data from Dynamics and from other data sources in there. That includes ad hoc reporting. We have different ways to distribute those reports. I'll show that today. We also have a dashboard module, and that is 10 months old now, so if you've seen this product a year or 2 or 3 ago, you may not have seen dashboards. Or third, we have planning, and that is budgeting and forecasting. We use the word planning. And the last, we have an optional data warehouse, so we can do both reporting live off of Dynamics, and primarily Dynamics GP in this discussion. We also can pull data from other data sources, maybe CRM, maybe a membership management system, maybe a retail or medical billing system, and pull all of that data together and have reports that are consolidated. So we will see some of that. This is our architecture map. So we have, with the dotted lines, the live reporting, and then we also have the standard lines to pull data from the data warehouse. So kind of some of our competitors just do live reporting. Other ones do data warehouse only. We're the only ones that kind of have that take your choice option. With GP, we actually have a bunch of different ISVs that we've integrated with or written extra metadata to, and I'll show you in a minute what metadata means, but that means we can pull data from some project systems or the binary stream multi-entity or other systems out there, including images from something stored like by Alltech or PaperSave and so on. So let's go ahead and take a look at BI 360. First, I'm just going to show our kind of FRX replacement package with FRX going away and Management Reporter being uninspired in its absence and problematic. We've gotten a whole lot of questions on this, so we kind of have a little solution just on this. I am in Excel 2010. BI 360 adds a reporting menu. If you get that part of the suite, a planning menu as well. In this, I have a report, and I ran it right before we started the webinar. There's kind of 4 big things that I want to show on this report. The first is that this is an Excel-based report. In fact, I'll kind of put my little report designer away. So because it's in Excel, I have graphs, I have conditional formatting, the yellow and red lights, and don't have any green ones yet, and data bars here. All the Excel-based formatting we have, and this is a pretty long report, as we can scroll down and take a look, and there's our bottom. We even have some square footage and some other things in here as well. Secondly, we can go into any of these numbers, right-click, and after all the normal things you see in Excel on a right-click, we have our drill-down menu, and I can drill down either to the summary or the detail table in General Ledger, and of course Great Plains is great that it gives us both, and these are the transactions that make this up. Nice thing about GP again is we have that originating master name. That means customer or vendor to most people and most transaction types. So we have that available for us. And of course the debits and credits are here as well. And of course, yeah, we got some debits. So we can drill down to any of these numbers. If I wanted to look at for any of the other ones, I would do just the same thing. I can even drill down if I wish to a pivot table. I won't do that today. But if there's a ton of transactions and a user who likes and is used to pivot tables, it's a really neat tool. Second thing that I want to show, and I'm going to kind of go under the report designer, and is that we can run this report at any time that we want. And one of the secrets is unlike FRX and Management Reporter, to get a 100+ line report, you'd have to define 100+ rows. Define each of the columns, and then when you're done with that, define the graphics that go with it. It's almost the same thing for Management Reporter. But here we have the ability to use something we call the expanding button. If I turn that off, it works like FRX and Management Reporter. Define a range of numbers, print the total. But why can't you define a range of numbers and print everything that matches in there, maybe with or maybe without zero balance or blank records? So I've just made this to print each and every balance that makes it. That's our revenues, have other revenues as well. In fact, I'm going to change this because, of course, a demo system, it's all one range. In real life, that lasts about a month. So I'm going to take 4180. I'm going to add that one to my revenues. I'm going to go to my other revenues line, and I'm going to take out 4180. Notice I have a nice pretty range of numbers, but when I hold down Control, unclick 4180, I now have 2 ranges. So it does that automatically for me. Now when I run this report, and I've got something else going on in this report, it's going to take about 15 seconds to run. It's querying data from GP, summarizing that up, putting it into our system. But watch row 7 and row 10 expand, and it's going to do that just about now. And that is something that helps us create these reports, and more important, not spend time maintaining them on a regular basis. If we added a 4113 GL account number, we wouldn't have to change this report to have it appear right in between Australia and Germany. Okay, 4180 appeared at the bottom, kind of disappeared from below, so we did that. Then so that's the expanding button. The third thing that I want to show you, and this is something neat that we can do right inside our general ledger data, is we have kind of a formatted drill down, or we're actually using the expanding feature of Excel. I'm going to my favorite general ledger account, meals and entertainment for sales, and I have now the vendors that I've spent money with on those, and then I have the even invoice details, the vendor number, name, invoice document date, and invoice number, and we can take a look at those. So that certainly is a little better formatted than that right-click drill down I just showed you, but it is the same data, and some people like that quite a bit, to be able to take a look at something and see the details where you want to. Especially helps when people have lower level managers who need to, manage a few GL account areas really close and not have to worry about the rest of the organization. You can just give them the details where they need to see it. We didn't have it in revenue here or payroll stuff, just in the overhead expenses. So, of course, that can be put wherever you want. The last thing that I want to show that we've done, and I'm going to go back under the hood and show that we've written what we call metadata to be able to look at this data. So this is the Dynamics GP data tables. The account summary and account details are the primary tables that we have there. I guess budget's the third one that we use. We do have analytical accounting and a few other things in there that a few people use. But in looking at this report, and I'm going to go ahead and write a report from scratch for the general ledger right here and kind of show how this works. So I am starting my report with an entirely blank screen. So we will bring in this. I'm calling up my Fabricam company. Of course, for you may have many companies and name them what you want. I'm going to write a trial balance, and in fact, I encourage you to take out your smartphone and tell me how long this takes. And you can start timing right now. So I am going to use my account summary to do a trial balance. I have my account string, my entire GL account. I'm going to bring that in and make a new row every time that changes. I'm going to bring over the account. All of the fields from the GL chart of accounts come in, and I'll bring in the description. I'll ignore some of the other ones. Then I'm going to bring in that period change, and I'm going to bring it in twice. I'll make these just a little bit bigger, and this thing I can just lay out here for now. I'm going to take that period balance, and I am going to bring in my date functions, and I'm going to have column D be year to date, and I could do period to date, but I'll make E last year to date. I'm going to do a variance, and of course the formula, and in the formula is going to be all Excel. So equal sign this year minus last year. Boom, I'm done. I'll take a couple of seconds to make this nice and presentable. So bold and italics there, extra big fonts here. Take our dollars and make them accounting with, and I don't like decimal places, so I just got rid of them. And then last, I'm going to put in my totals. And I'm going to copy that and paste it here. And now I'm almost ready to go. Single underline, double underlines, then I'm ready to go. Pick the period I'm running this for. Best data in Fabricam is March of 2014, and there we go. So that expanding took over. If I do a right click, I've got all of my drill downs just like I showed before. That comes up in the next tab, so we have that as well. And that is our thing. I actually want to do two things to this. You can keep those timers running. First thing that I want to do is in GP, it's a trial balance, so I kind of want all my GL accounts, except I do have, at the very end of GP, we have some unit accounts. So the and suspense account, we'll get rid of that one. Then secondly, I didn't do anything with my department and division, so I'm going to go ahead back into here, and we will do this for division and department. So I'm going to go into my account string. We've defined account, department, and division here, so I'm going to bring in the department. And actually, I'm going to undo that one. I'm going to bring it in again, and I am going to then bring in my description. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go into my parameters, and we're going to bring in department as a parameter. I'm going to, and I could permanently say I just want a couple of these, but I'm going to have it ask. Have a couple of formats for that. I want to create a sheet per value, though. I want to show you what that will do. And let's take a look at what that does. So as I run this now, it says, what departments do I want to use? I'll do almost all of them. Now as I run this trial balance, take a look at the very bottom. So now I have 100, 200, 300, 400, and I'm looking at those, and it will bring that up. So that's kind of a very nice way. It shouldn't actually do that. That was the one thing I tried to undo. But we can do that easily as well. So that is a trial balance. Stop the timers. Just a couple of minutes to write a report with totals, with tabs. The most important thing is this is one general ledger query that then brings into Excel and puts it into the right tabs and totals and so on. So very easy on the database, and very easy. This report will work no matter what accounts you put in there, no matter how many new departments you may add. Maintenance is 0 on this. Okay, so I'm going to pause. That's kind of my general ledger reporting. This FRX replacement starts at $1,995 for software, plus enhancement and some training and so on. But very easy to do. More powerful than Management Reporter and FRX. We do have a free converter of FRX reports, and I guess that's it. Michael, any questions to?
No, not seeing any. You must be slowing down a bit, Tom. I had you at 4.5 minutes for that report, so.
I took the scenic tour a little bit.
Okay.
I've done it in 3.5. So,
okay. Let me go ahead and unmute all real quick and just see if we have any questions. Any questions from anyone out in the audience? Not hearing any.
We'll move on. We'll give one more chance before the end of the presentation, and we'll take them there too. I have now up our portal, and by the way, I'm into the $2 sign area of the FRX demo, but this portal is very helpful for those larger organizations, and that allows us to do a couple of things in here. The first is that this is a place to store reports and dashboards that we have, so in many cases. So this is just for me. That's my name up in the right-hand corner. I can have my favorites, and I just put a little toggle the little star to have something appear or not appear in my favorites anymore. I'm actually going to do a very quick report here. One of my favorite reports to show people is this is what I call a narrative report. And this has two different areas. The first one that's pretty is a standard profit and loss report. I can make this a little bit bigger, but it shows this March, but it shows January and February as well. I can expand or compress those other months as I wish, and then it also gives me this year and last year, and I don't have a budget for the company I'm running this for, but you will see that change in a minute. Secondly, though, I have a narrative here. So we've written in Excel. This is an Excel-based report. I could run this in the Excel as well. We have a thing, and for company EMEA, it says at the beginning, the profitability this month was weak. The profits were $8,000 compared to $18,000 for the same month last year, and blah, 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 blah. Graphs, numbers, warm regards, the finance team. I'm going to run this for a different company now. I have a couple of companies here, so I'm going to run it for my U.S. company. And let's take a look at what happens here. So, requerying, this is live. If there were any new transactions for that old period, we can run that now too. And now it's rewritten our thing, and it says the profitability this month was great. Net profits of $78,000 compared to a loss of $4,000 last year. That's certainly great, and it's a 1,900% And again, different graphs, different revenue numbers, and again at the end, kind regards finance team. If I look at the P&L, it's different. Actually, I have a budget for this company and a few other things too. So we found a lot of people were going into Word, writing up a narrative for the board of directors or for the senior financial folks in addition to the P&Ls, kind of delayed even getting the P&Ls to people to make sure this was done. So that could be done automatically. What's neat is everybody's used to the numbers and the graphs changing, but the adjectives changed on this one from weak to great, and we did that. I'll tell you a secret. It's based upon this percentage change. So the higher or lower or lack of change will make it great or weak or nice. I think we have in the middle, and potentially you can put as many adjectives in there for different percentage changes that you wish. So that is a report inside our portal. The other neat thing that has is that we don't do in the Excel is it actually stores it from a month ago now. So if I want to see it back for December, I can do that as well, and then see the one that I just ran as well. Second part that we have in this is we have the ability to do dashboards. And dashboards are really neat. They are not designed in Excel. They're designed here inside our browser. This is, in this case, live data from GP. In fact, this is sales orders. And I pulled in the sales orders that are just invoices and returns. And if you know GP, I'm keeping out the the picked and the ordered and the quotes and that stuff. Just want the invoice things on this one. And then secondly, I have all the salespeople. So I've sorted this by salesperson. If I hover over any of these, I get the numbers. But if I click on Gregory, I've set this up to drill down and redraw. So not only did it do the first dashlet, it also did the graph and the bar chart as well. And if I click on Vision, I think I've got another drill down here to the things that they bought. So that is a very neat little dashboard. We can put as many of these as we wish on our dashboard. Here's a project one that works for some organizations as well. I like to show this one because not only do we have a pie chart and what a donut chart, but we also have the ability to just show putting regular numbers in there too. But they're clickable as well. If I want to take a look at the earthquake retrofit project, we are based in Los Angeles, we can do that as well. So let me show you how to create a dashboard. That is something that, although we have designer users for, we think more people can design dashboards in our system than just about any other. I'm going to bring in a new dashboard. We'll call this the dashboard for Michael. I can then take the field names here or the same field names that I showed inside of Excel. So it's the same metadata. So I'm going to take the period, global selection criteria. I'm going to do entity or company. At least at the moment, we'll pull our best year of data. Nothing worse than showing a dashboard for months where no transactions are, and then we'll do this all off the U.S. company. Then secondly, I can then pull in dashlets that are already written. So if I want to take a look at customer sales and I want to take a look at my revenue by facility, I can drag those in, hit the refresh button, and they can come in. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that revenue, and I'm going to bring in that revenue. Okay, and then if I want to bring in a new one, or make a new one, I can do that as well. So I'll pick something I haven't done before. So I'll go ahead and put a pie chart in. Of course, that's only a x-axis thing. So we'll bring in, first I'm going to drag in the same period and the same entity that I have up here. So it's going to copy those in, and then I'm going to do some general ledger accounts. I'm going to do an analysis of, overtime's a good one to keep your eye on a regular basis for a lot of organizations. So I'll do that. So we'll go ahead and take a look at full-time and part-time overtime. And we're going to take a look at the dollars. Again, this is general ledger. That's our main choice. So then the other two things, and you probably may or may not be able to see it. It says in 50% intensity. Drag in the fields here to drill down on. So I'm going to drill down on period. And then what are my slices of pie? What field is that going to be? I'll make that the same account number. Could be account name. Of course, I could make it department, actually. Maybe that's what I want to see. Maybe I want to drill down to department after period. I can do that as well. So I've put in this dashlet. I'm going to close this. We'll go ahead and name this overtime. And then I'll put this in. So there's my overtime. Maybe I'll make this just a little bit bigger. And again, I can go in and change some of the other properties of this I didn't show that I can change. Some of the alignments and titles and other things too. In fact, if I go to a bar chart, I have a lot more things I can change here. You know, show or not show the labels on the left and all of that type of stuff. Very easy to drag and drop. We've made it easier to find the data inside of GP. And again, as I did before, not just general ledger, but payables, receivables, you know, payroll, if you have that in GP, is all available to you. So that's our dashboard. I'm not going to save this one I just did. Sorry, Michael, you're not going to live in infamy in our dashboard. And I'm going to put this away. Last thing that I'll show on this report is talk a little bit about our some of the reports that we have on other systems. So I certainly can do a report off of Yeah, it's a general ledger report off the accounts payable. If I'm going to take a quick look at this one, I did it for just some of my vendors. In fact, Fabricam had the awful habit of mixing their employee expense vendors and their trade vendors together, so I kind of unseparated those real quick. Have a little highlight on anything over $25,000. But that's pretty simple. But let me change this a little bit, add a little bit extra to it. I like to show, actually one of my gripes about GP used to be that I could show the document date or I could show the due date, but it was really hard to get them both on the same report. So I just did that. So now if I run this again, I have my dates there. I didn't put a header, but wanted to show extra easy. Drag and drop the fields you want on the report, and it's easy to do this. Okay, I'm going to pause a second for any questions. See if I have any of those queued up. Michael, go ahead and undo this. And
yeah, I'm not seeing any questions in the queue. Anyone have any questions on the phone right now? Okay, not hearing any.
If not, while we're doing this, if you know the restaurant's bringing out the candles and the white tablecloths, and we're going into the $3 sign category here, and inside BI 360. So the first is I'm going to use a report off of our data warehouse this time. So the data warehouse exists there, and we use that for several things. One is, and it's not the only way we do it, but it's our best way to do company consolidation. So I have 4 companies here that I'm working with. Secondly, I have the ability to do currency translation in an advanced way. Better than G from other data sources, and then also we use that as our portion of a P&L statement. We hit the same themes again, but a couple of neat things here that you can do that you can't do in some other reporting tools. The first is we did, of course, double variances both for this year, last year, and for budget actual. Second, the graphs you can't see other places, but there's some smaller things that we can do here that I think are just as important. The first is we repeated E81 at the top of the report. So, of course, E81, take a look at it. That is this month net income, and there's our year-to-date over here. So I can actually have both of those here, big and little fonts. So if you have any executives with a really short attention span, too short to scroll down 81 lines, you can give them the bottom line at the top, and I kind of like that, especially for people who aren't used to financial statements. And then secondly, of course, this one includes all the same drill downs that we've done before and anything else, but it's a pretty neat, or we call this the modern format of a P&L statement. But secondly, I really want to talk about planning or budgeting now. And I've got 20 minutes left. So first, for this, we have a set of assignments. And I'm going to kind of move from being the person who designs these reports. Now Tom Franks is just going to be the head of Department 100 in the U.S. company. And I have lots of other people co-workers who do the other departments and the other companies. So I have assigned to me a set of budget inputs. I probably only have 3 or 4, but I have about 10 just so I can demonstrate them easier. My administrator gave me a nice little note and was very polite. And then I can take and work on these as I wish to. Certainly could have been in any order that I want to, but I'm going to start my planning with other expenses. Someone gave me a baseline budget of last year's budget with a percentage change. So I'm going to be seeing this for the first time. And then it remembers my company, my department, and then I'm running this on the 10th month of the previous year, 2011, to budget for 2012. As I press run, you're going to see the expanding happen on the rows and the columns. And I have a section that you'll see to budget. I have an area called accounts budgeted on other forms, and the other forms are over here. And I really did that, or whoever designed this for me did it, so I could see the total expenses this year versus last year. I have last year's actual and forecast, because again, I can't wait till the end of the year to start budgeting. So, and that automatically appears here. So I'm pressing run, grabbing the latest data. I'm going to put away my two little menus here just so we can see everything. In fact, I can scroll down even more if I want to. So what's in yellow in solver templates means enter data here. What's in blue means don't enter data here. We've had people change those colors, of course. It's Excel. So if I go to the right, I have 10 months of actual, 2 months of forecast, and a couple of things you'll see me do in a minute work off of last year's. And then if I scroll down, I have those accounts budgeted on other forms. Of course, well, gee, it's payroll and fixed assets. We'll get to that in a minute. And then my this year versus last year, I've got, some red arrows and green arrows and a lot of yellow arrows. So yes, I have work to do here. So let's go ahead and start budgeting. I'm actually going to make this just a little bit bigger. I have 4 ways that I can enter budget on this template. Other templates, I may or may not use them all. First is I can just do the standard. I have $15,000 of auditing expense I expect to happen in April. I'm going to enter that. It writes it in. It writes the date and time of the last time I've changed this, and that's really otherwise then the same as any other spreadsheet. Office supplies, I'll do that second. I have a button called Enter Data. That's going to divide the screen in half for me. Let me concentrate on office supplies. I'll put my little chart away. I have last year's here, and of course that's actual and forecast. And I can bring in this, I can ignore this, what was given to me, and I can, if I wish, I can just copy last year's history, maybe change it a few percentage, or maybe I want to average 2 years or 3 years of history. I can do that as well. Then maybe change it, maybe not. One of the other things that some people like to do is enter in just a flat amount. Take a look at that monthly, maybe quarterly. One of my favorites is trend-based. That's the little tiny seasonality variance between months echoed in this one. I can still change that down. Now I'm, 18,000 different than last year. That's about 7 or 8%. That's pretty good, well, except December. December's going to be higher for office supplies. I can enter a comment. So use staples and update this to Excel. Okay, so I put that away, and there's my new part in here. I'll go down the third way. I can do something, and I'll use conferences as really a great example. I'm going into the same Enter Data button. I'm going to put away that chart for a second. But instead of using this grid, I'm going to, in the spread tool, I'm going to add line items. And in truth, the last thing that a conference would be is $1,600 a month each and every month. Most people go to a handful of conferences, And again, I am the accounting department, so I'm going to go to Convergence. And that's March. In fact, I will be there if anyone is going to Atlanta this year. And then secondly, if there's a GPUG event in October, and that's in Reno. And then we can go to AICPA meeting in New Jersey, and that'll cost $20 on the Turnpike. So we can put in our conferences that we're going to go to, and then put that and update that back to Excel if we wish to. In fact, I'll bring back this little chart. You know, you can look at it some ways like that if you want to. Of course, put the grid in too, but whatever you want to help make sure it looks right, and then update it back to Excel. So what I did on this was something that Forecaster and most other budget systems can't do. I added general ledger line items on the fly. And for Department 100, conferences make sense. Maybe for Department 200, they don't want to detail out their conferences. They want to detail out their books and subscriptions, or they want to, put out their advertising. Whatever you need to do, you can do that. If you want to have a specialized form, again, all these forms are written in our report writer. So we've had people write special forms for travel, and do average hotel rates and all sorts of things in there if they want to. So all of that is possible. So that's the third way. Enter these different line items. The fourth thing that we can do is we can use all of our Excel stuff to be able to do this. Now I'm going to point out that at this point I'm not the designer. If I was the designer creating these templates and I had some really neat ideas and standard formulas that are used in the company, I could put all that in. If there's per capita expenses for email or something like that, could use that. But if just here as the guy in charge of Department 100 at one company, I have a little formula, I can use that I want to. Repairs and maintenance is based upon the amount of electricity we use. Kind of a little strange, but who knows? So I'm going to just do some cut and paste, put that in. Of course, I'm going to look at my electricity, and maybe that's going to go up in the summer. And now it's changed my maintenance along with the electricity usage. Because I'm not the designer, I'm just the head. When I save this data, and I do manually save data back to the data warehouse, we want you to do that, but we want you to, of course, look at it, half a dozen different ways if you want to before saving it, and save that in. We are just going to save that number. That crazy formula I'm putting in is not saved. So we can put that in here. And again, so before I really save this, I'm going to, again, go down, take a look at my bottom line. I got rid of my red arrows, and I got more green arrows. So that's a good news. I'm going to go back up and take a look again to the right and kind of see what I have. I don't have a variance column, but you could put that in this year, last year, variance per line item if I wanted to, and take a look at this if I want to. So, and then I could save this data. I'm not actually going to save it. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another template. And very quickly, I want to show our payroll template. And the first thing I want you to notice about the personnel or payroll template is it looks totally different than the last template. We write these in our report writer. You do get all the ones that we have here. So if you want to use those for, as a basis and change it to your GL account structure and some other things, you can do that. If you want to use it for inspiration, I actually have 5 different models for different verticals here. so you can use those as well. So I'm bringing up the payroll. I have had people who want to take some fields off because of security, but I do want to mention that we have security underneath here. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm in charge of Department 100 in the U.S. company. Security would be set up that I can't go look at another department or worse yet another company and see their employees and what they make. I'm only dealing with mine, and I already know what they make. So I'm going to put the two menus away. Have only a few things in yellow on this template, and a lot more formulas. I'll kind of, let's see. We usually do this. We say that someone's eligible to retire next year, like Isaac Montero, so we will do that, and we will budget to have a new office manager. We'll start that new person a month before the old one leaves. Make that full-time again and put in a salary. So this next section is kind of increase months. You can do that however you want to. Some people do it based on hire date. Some people don't. I've had a little of everything here. I've had people say, we do everybody in August except a couple. So, hey, you cut and paste, put that in, and then, we can put in, if you wish, the percentages, or maybe for some people it's a dollar amount, whatever you need to do. Some people get overtime. Some people don't. And then I even have a bonus here. Maybe our retiree doesn't get a bonus. Maybe they get a bigger one. I don't know what the policies are. Put that in, and then we're ready to go. If I go to the right now, we've got a lot of these calculated fields. And again, this is all Excel stuff, so we broke out the salary. Again, here's, these are Excel formulas. This isn't rocket science here. There's our retiree. There's our replacement. And then to the right, we have that overtime I put in and so on. Let me talk about the FICA for a second. We stored the FICA, and there's another form that does it in the data warehouse. So if that changes or the maximums change, you can change that once, and it works through the whole system. You don't have to change it in each form, and so on. So again, got all of this stuff out here, head count, everything else that we have. If I go back to the bottom, have part-time folks. Really the only difference there is you can say the number of hours they have and a rate, kind of, especially for contractors. Have all the GL account numbers and descriptions here, and this year, last year options calculated as well. When I'm ready, I can store that. Biggest thing to remember in BI 360 is we're using Excel to create the templates. In Forecaster, they call them input sets. We're using it to display the data, but we're storing all our data in that data warehouse, which is a SQL database, not a cube, a regular SQL database, and that allows us to keep that data and make it multi-user and not have to consolidate sheets and allow people to do things that they want to in only the date range that they're allowed to do that in. Okay, so that's payroll. And I want to show, would do all the other assessments on payroll, and then the approvers would take over and then change it from there, and so on. I wanted to take the couple of minutes that I had left, and I wanted to show two forecasting tools. The first one, we can do it as a standard year or a rolling forecast if we want to. I have a rolling forecast here starting in March of 2012. I'm going to run that real quick and just show what we have here. So then I have the last 12 months in blue. And again, that's March to March, even though we were doing our budget year in for January to December. So now we have from March through the year, we have our budget in there, and then we can put in our January and February data. So what do we have, you know, coming up then? And put in so we can put in our budget data for February. Again, could do it for the expenses as well if we wanted to, and bring that in and then save that back. And again, I'm the right person to do this department for this company. It knows who I am, puts that in and does that. But this is a pretty simple way to update revenue. Again, it's, you know, right person, educated guess. Hopefully I have a stack of papers in front of me to figure out what this is. But there's a second way that another company did. And I'm kind of doing the Goldilocks method. If this one's too simple, the next one I'm showing might be too complicated. But your truth lies somewhere in the middle. So this is what I call a forecast with revenue prediction. And again, this is got a lot of Excel formulas in it. Got two parts of this. The first one that looks a little more familiar here is our P&L revenue and expenses. Do have one extra thing. Got 3 years here, 2012, 13, and 14. We can go as many years into the future as you want. Forecaster can't, but we have that. Open up and see the months if we want, or just look at the years. That's all our choice. But the real thing that we did need here is this organization said, and we changed the names to protect the innocent. They had 11 questions that predicted their revenue. So they put on this one those 11 questions with both a likelihood that it will occur. Is a new competitor going to offer something similar? That's a 40% chance, and if they do, that'll hurt real bad the first year and a little less the second year. If that happens to go up to 50%, when I enter, it's going to recalculate this spreadsheet. Of course, all the tabs, that's normal spreadsheet stuff, and then we're going to be able to go back and take a look at something else. So then we have a new base revenue for the next 3 years. Then we can go back, take a look at our bottom line. We have a new bottom line here. Then we can go through, and this organization said, well, we're manually going to take a look at our expenses and see what we need to do. So if we need to, you know, reduce salaries by 2%, put that in. Maybe we need more training, so that's going to go up 5%, or whatever we need to do to take this change, and again, it calculates back out. So everybody's questions are different, of course. Maybe some expenses change when the revenues change, maybe some other things, who knows. But it's Excel formulas we're dealing with. We teach you how to do this in the report writer. It can be very simple or very intricate. That's up to you, and you know, second, third, fourth year, we see people doing a lot of neat things. So I have 2 minutes left in my hour. Are there any questions? Thank you for your time. I appreciate it a whole lot. If you have any more questions, please talk to Michael or the rest of the team.
All right, thank you, Tom. I'm not seeing any questions in the queue. Let me go ahead and unmute everyone and see, does anyone out there on the phone have any questions?
We never got the pricing for the other pieces.
I didn't want to cover pricing here, but Michael can do that, and if that's the Kidney Foundation. I know we've done a couple of price quotes for you in the past, and I am happy to refresh those if you need to.
I'm sure you can go over that with Petrus. I take it the email notifications and all of that stuff are also available in this when you do changes to like the budgeting and forecasting?
Absolutely, and I didn't have time to show our publisher. Thank you for reminding me. This will allow us to email reports or PDFs and Excel tables or put them in a shared directory and do that either on demand or, on a certain day or week of the month or day of the week or whatever to be able to send those reports out. That is still there, and thank you for reminding me.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Any other questions? All right, well, we're right up against our hour here, so we all thank you for joining us today. If there are any additional questions that come up afterwards, please feel free to email me or give me a call. And thank you to Tom for taking his time today and going through it. We look forward to speaking it with everyone again.
I see a quick
you,
question. Let me address.
Yes, sir.
Hang on, Michael.
Yes.
I saw someone said in the budget area, does it consolidate departments? And absolutely, yes, it does. The template I'm showing now doesn't consolidate them, but absolutely it can. And it can do in any combination of the segments of the GL accounts or anything else that you have. So, yes, it can consolidate companies too. Thank you. If there's any other questions, let Michael know, and we will get them answered.
Very good. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.